Hello and welcome to an update with some latest progress of my Lamborghini engine here with a BMW gearbox into my Volvo. The car is back on the lift and I'm working on the engine mounts again because I was not really happy about it. The engine was not correctly straight in the chassis there. And nowadays when you can buy engine mounts for many different kind of engines to fit directly bolt on in different chassis, I thought it was why is there really a good market for that one, because it's so easy to do engine mounts. And maybe I took this one a little bit too easy now. Before I put 2J in this car and yeah, just welded in it was no problem. But yeah, my first versions was not the best one, so now I adjusted it. Now it's straight again, but I think maybe it's with the gearbox I'm not happy. Take it up and see. The output shaft is way too high for this tunnel here, so I think I have to cut this up and yeah, make room for the drive shaft there. Where I originally planned to have the gearbox, it was a little bit too low, so now I have a little bit of wood under there, making it a little bit higher, but it's still kind of the lowest point. No, I think it's good here. Cut out for the starter motor. I actually think I can raise the car a little bit up. And for those complaining about my welds, yeah, I know it's not the best one, but that's the good thing about this car. It doesn't need to be the nicest one. I try to do where I can, a little bit nice, but if some welds is not nice, I don't care really. It's an old car, it has some rust and yeah. Mounts spot welded a little bit up with some shims there. I've been working so hard to get this engine down, but now I'm actually taking it up a bit again. The valve cover needs to be cleared. I need to cut out the corner here for the steering, and it always feels a little bit bad when a nice Lamborghini untouched part when I need to cut into it. It's a very tight fit here between the steering rack and the engine. There's some here, and now I have cut out as much as I can here. So actually I will cut the steering rack brackets down a bit and get the steering rack a little bit further to the beam there, what you say. So I will get a little bit clearance if it moves. And now finally the steering is where it should be, I think. So now I can try to see if I can build an exhaust manifold here on this left hand side. Brackets adjusted, and now I think the clearance is okay there. The primaries on the exhaust, the header there is going on there. Some freebasing on them, but yeah. It's very tight to the steering rack, do not really fit there. Even back here, some interference. So yeah, off again. I was planning to buy those plastic bends you can buy to mock up an exhaust manifold, but nah, I just now working on whatever I have here in the garage, what bends I find here. See if I can make it. Left hand side exhaust manifold coming together, looking quite different from the stock one. And I'm almost ashamed of showing this because it's not looking so nice. Mostly used parts here, some of the new bends, but yeah, this is never going to be a show car. And if I had a show car, it was my old Supra. Now I have taken the front beam down here so I could test fit this up and down a couple of times. Not so easy maybe to fit with one hand and the camera in the other hand, so I will take the camera down and yeah, it will go up and down a couple of times. Now it fits there, and the steering, yeah, it's very tight, but some room between there. The collector here, it's a bit tight. I think I need to cut this and mix of TIG weld and MIG welding together. Maybe it would be better to build it completely new, not optimal all the angles, but yeah. And it's not finalized in the collector there, but I think it's getting there. And yeah, now I have room for the steering and everything, so quite different to what's on this engine from the beginning, but yeah. Working here, but I actually took in my daily driver, my 245er here. Now I have the winter tires on, and it's actually expected to be the first snow of the year coming here this weekend. So yeah, making the car ready to yeah, do some snow drifting to get some inspiration to this car. When it comes to brake booster, I before used this one. This one is a little bit smaller, I think, than the Volvo original one, and it's from the Mark IV Supra. But yeah, there's no way to fit this. It interferes with the cylinder head here, so yeah, cannot use this one. On Street Week this year, I found an Volvo 240 with an LS engine that was using this one. It was an Hydra-boost. This one is from an Hummer H2 actually. It was actually bigger than I thought. So yeah, we'll see. But the diameter is a lot smaller than a vacuum one. And I think it should be like this. Yeah, maybe fits, but here we have an compressed gas. It says it's an accumulator. I think we can rotate this 190 degrees and have it on this side. It will clear the head, but will it clear here? We'll see. I think I will remove this bracket and yeah, see if it fits. But in this one, Hydra-boost it's called. It's driven by the hydraulic pump, this power steering pump of the car actually. Pretty good condition, not rusty at least. With a new smaller bracket, I think it will fit pretty good here actually. And connecting the main cylinder here as well. A little bit different bolt pattern there, but I'll change that. Also, one good thing about this one, it has built in this one accumulator. If the engine stops rotating, you lose power steering, you still have some power for the brakes there as well. So there is some other cars, they have that one separate. Temporary bolted in the Hydra-boost there. And how this works, it's actually very simple. You connect it in serial. Between the power steering pump goes the pressure in, and the high pressure goes also out to the power steering. And it is also one return line that you can make in T on and return to the tank there. So very easy. And this one helps, this higher pressure helps your foot pressure to make it easier. Same as the vacuum one with a large diaphragm. With vacuum it helps to increase the power. The wiring is a work in progress. I will connect all of these original wires into the PDM, so that will give power to all the outlets. I also made a plate here, carbon fiber one, that I mounted the PDM and the ECU on. The location for them will be here. The ECU, by the way, I'm gonna run the Motec M150 in this car, same as I have in my Lamborghini. And this ECU actually I borrowed from my Lamborghini. I don't have an ECU for this car. They're expensive, so I hope one day I can buy an ECU just for this car. I'm working on the engine wiring harness here, and I'm adding these e-throttle wiring here for the e-throttles, because it's a separate wiring. It's not on the normal engine loom in the Lamborghinis. and I am removing this tape. Maybe it's not very motorsport with the taped harness, but this is what they use original in Audis and actually in the Lamborghinis as well. So I will remove this, add in the wires, and I will actually, instead of using the ray cam, on the all new wiring I'm using the ray cam shrink tubes. Very good one, more rubber like shrink hose, but to save some time I will keep the stock Lamborghini style, and I am using this Tessa tape 51026 from BGP Race, and you can buy it in other places as well, I guess. And this is the same style. It's oil resistant and yeah, works very good in the engine base. If you want to use tape in engine harness, use this stuff. It's really good. But the best, of course, if I could do everything in Raychem shrink tube, that would be the best. But yeah, maybe next time. Now I have to save some time, save some money to get this car on the road. Working here on the harness, and I'm adding these knock sensor connectors, and I'm just going to show you here how I'm using this shielded wires to get the wire out for the shield. I have now cut this insulation, and I have cut the shield about 10 millimeters. Then I put some heat shrink, heat it. I have a wire here that I will use out for the shield, and I take some masking tape to hold it in place. Solder sleeves on here. This one is from BJP Race, and a very good quality. I think it's the Raychem or TE one. Expensive, but they are very good. Heat it. And now this wire, I'm actually doing 90-degree bend there, and now I have 3 wires out of these ones for connecting to the connector, or if you have a bulkhead connector or something like that. So this is the nicest way, I think, of doing this shielding. This beam here for the gearbox is, I think, the original one from the car from 1975, and it has been rebuilt for many different gearboxes during this car's life. But it's getting old. It has some rubber, I want to say, bushings here that is getting worn. And I found out that MK Motorsport here in Sweden, they have actually a beam for 240 that fits this GS6 gearbox, and actually one bracket here to fit to the gearbox as well. So the nice guys there sent me this one, also some rubber bushings there as well, and also I will use this one. It's for dual brake calipers in the rear. I have been using the Hydra brake on the original calipers. With this one you can use 2 of the original brake calipers there. So yeah, thanks to MK Motorsport. They have a lot of things, good, nice things for the Volvos. And very nice fabrication, very industrial looking. So yeah, good thing. So I will ditch the original beam and put this one on and see if the position will be about where I want to have it with my calibrated wood here. I worked on the right hand side manifold here as well, welding that one, but now the argon is finished. But yeah, tight fit there as well, and not not the nicest one, that one either. But the steering actually works now. It's tight here against the frame, so yeah, now it fits there. Just some finalized welding. Also, like you see here, the engine mount. Would be nice to start making everything final and a little bit nice. It looks a little bit messy with all this bad welding.